For the past few months, we've had your, typical hard left groups, Extinction Rebellion, the BLM movement, everybody out on the streets, causing chaos. Most mainstream politicians have been opposing them. Some of them have been supporting them. Two of these people are Dawn Butler, the Labour MP, and another one, Diane Abbott. Dawn Butler tweeted, "Bravo, Extinction Rebellion. Excellent work." Now, she was forced to actually delete the tweet by her staff because, whoa, what are you doing, Dawn? She said a lot of things in the past, but this one is a bit too much because Extinction Rebellion have been advocating to bringing down the system, the democracy, liberal democracy, but also the capitalist system. Dawn Butler, not only she backed it, her colleague, Diane Abbott, went on TV, defended them, and she compared them with the suffragette movement.
So what do you think of the tactics of Extinction Rebellion? The Labour MP Dawn Butler tweeted yesterday before deleting the tweet, "Bravo, Extinction Rebellion, excellent work." Did she get it right the first time in your view?
I can repeat what I've said. These are legal tactics, and we don't want to talk as if it's not illegal to take direct action, because direct action has been legal since the time of the suffragettes.
Yeah, direct action, guys. Let's go to the streets. Why not? Let's cause chaos. Because Diane Abbott says, Diane said the same Diane Abbott who was the shadow Home Secretary at some point. Yeah, she's fine with it, guys. Just go. Just burn the buses and everything else. Who cares? These are the same people who have infiltrated our academia and media and the political establishment up to a point where everybody is becoming woke. You've had this the other day. Not all of them. Well, as you can see in this photo, half of the police officers, so 2 out of 4, kneeling. Yeah, so that's the thing. So obviously we criticize case by case. I don't like to be one of those people who say, just because of this, every single police officer is now woke. It's not true. As you can see, the other 2 are still standing up and doing their job. But 2 of them are definitely woke or scared. I don't know, which is ironic because it's not the job of the police to be scared. So that's one thing. And then you have the situation where people like Dawn Butler and Diane Abbott, who are massive hypocrites in this issue, they're talking about diversity, and they're now defending Extinction Rebellion. Where is the diversity? Look at this photo. This is just one angle. You've seen the footage. You've seen the pictures everywhere. Extinction Rebellion is not a diverse group, is it? They're all white middle class, sandal wearing, avocado loving. I don't know. Well, that's it. That's all I have. Can't go too far with this, but I don't care about the diversity of skin color or any of that. They claim to be diverse. They claim that this is the problem with the capitalist system and liberal democracy. That most Tories are white because most people in this country are white guys. So that was white guys, not white guys, just for the record. But this is the whole problem we have with these people. And on the other hand, you remember we were talking about the Extinction Rebellion protests. Finally, the leaders, 20 of the organisers have been fined £10,000 because we mentioned how the anti-lockdown protests had Piers Corbyn being fined 10k, and I was wondering if the police and the government would be strong enough to do the same with Extinction Rebellion, and they've done it. Not only that, they're making a lot of profit because it's times 20. There are 20 of them. So, well done. To be fair, the mass protests are still illegal anyway, so the 10k is justified, but I'm glad that there's no double standards. Next, you have to go after the BLM movement. I don't think they are brave enough, but we'll see. Because these guys, they're not coming out. That's Steve Bray and some of the EU Remainers or Rejoiners who are not giving up the fight. He's tweeted, "Our first day back at school" picture outside Jacob Rees-Mogg's doorstep. # hold them to account. Well, it's basically, this was late morning or afternoon. Jacob wasn't even there. He was at work. He was in Parliament. What's the point of you? Seriously, Steve. Yeah, so this is the guy who wants to cause trouble, but no one actually cares anymore because you're yesterday's news. Everyone now talks about Extinction and BLM. Come on, guys, get in the queue. Now, it's Monday. This time, I'm doing it on time. Members Q&A. I've got the questions from the members. If you want to obviously have access to sending me questions and also other perks, become a member. The link is in the description, or just go on youtube.com/my2c/join. First question. Adam E says, "Hi Maya, how long until the Conservatives get real and stop looking like a left-leaning woke pseudo-conservative party?" Well, that's an easy one. We know that the Conservative Party's aim and agenda is primarily based on winning and exercising power. So as long as they're doing well in the polls, and right now, yeah, they're kind of neck and neck with Labour and Keir Starmer, but not for these reasons, then they're losing support on other areas. The moment they lose support based on wokeness, then yeah, they're going to change their mind. The Conservative Party just literally relies on the mood of the country in terms of the opinion polls and the elections, not in terms of what we say. The silent majority agree with you, agree with me, but until they actually show this in the polls and also in elections, local elections and everything else, they're not going to change their mind. You remember the last couple of decades, this country was very Eurosceptic, even before the EU referendum. Actually, in fact, the opinion polls were showing that the vote to leave the EU would have been even higher. It would have been 60-65% a few years before the referendum. So people in this country were always Eurosceptic anyway, but they weren't really showing it in elections and opinion polls because it took Nigel Farage and UKIP a long time to actually get that momentum. And the moment the Conservative Party and David Cameron realised, okay, this could be a big issue if we don't address it now, then that's when the Tory party became pro-referendum and then eventually pro-leave. It will take some time. Right now, they're not really panicking. So that's one. Mr. Privacy, you talked about your ambitions in media, Maya. I think you are right to go in that direction. Your new catchphrase, "We are the media," is indeed a powerful message. I would give massive credit to Lacey Butcher for that. But yep, my question is, what are you going to do with this? I believe that there's currently a rising tide. Mainstream media has become so corrupt that everybody's crying out for voices that offer not simply unilateral narrative, but a truly clear-eyed, balanced and critical assessment of the world. With that in mind, would you consider coordinating with centre-left as you expand your channel? There's a massive gap in the market, anti-woke, moderate left. Yes, so absolutely. I mean, up to a point, obviously, because I don't think a lot of people on the left would want to work with someone like me. I don't know why, but because I'm not really that radical, am I? I don't know. I think I'm fine. I think there is some sort of there's a massive gap in the market for some sort of LBC style kind of media sort of thing, where you have like someone like James O'Brien. I mean, sometimes he could go too far, and then someone like Ian Dale or Nick Ferrari. It's good to have that sort of balance, but it is quite difficult to coordinate it with people on the left, even centre left, and I've kind of clashed with people, the moderate left as well. Tim says, "Good afternoon, Maya from Seattle." Oh, Seattle, brilliant. Well, I hope everything's going well with all the BLM stuff. I am wondering what you think about Boris Johnson's performances at PMQs and what you think needs to be done to sharpen his answers to Keir Starmer's courtroom approach. It is tricky. You can't really blame Boris Johnson. Yes, he comes across as boring or statesman-like. We want to see the fun Boris to actually be combative. It's tricky when you're dealing with Keir Starmer because if he goes too far, Boris, if he goes too happy, Boris, he might come across as he's actually being mean to Keir Starmer too much. And Keir Starmer will come across as a sensible one. So it's probably best to just let Keir Starmer be this boring person who's just, doing his courtroom approach. Everyone who's watching it will fall asleep anyway. So let him, make people fall asleep. But don't be complacent. Obviously, he does need to be better. The last few PMQs, Boris hasn't been great. So he just needs to be better in terms of his answers and details instead of just rambling around. So, Loves Music says, as a Tory Londoner who moved to Edinburgh in 2001, can you explain what is actually going on with Saad Khan? Instead of Sadiq Khan, I'm going to start calling him Saad Khan. When is he going to be made accountable for destroying and possibly bankrupting London? Well, we still have a democracy, so the only time we could hold him to account is the next election, which is next year, next May. And currently we have one massive contender, Sean Bailey, the Conservative candidate, who's not doing too well in the poll right now. He's still going down and Sadiq Khan is still going up because there's no alternative right now. The voters aren't really trusting Sean Bailey on this because his team hasn't been great. He's a great guy himself, I know him quite well, but it's just the team hasn't been great. They're not really convincing. And Sadiq Khan, as an incumbent, should be the easiest candidate to defeat, easiest mayor to beat. But they're not doing a good job. So best of luck. We just need to find a way to get rid of Sadiq Khan at some point. Russell Frost, do you think that the current wet government will have, would it be brave enough to get rid of the withdrawal agreement? Yes. So the whole point of going back to that question earlier is that basically the Tories and the Tory government, Tory party in general, will always go with where the pressure is. They know that one of the main reasons they won that election was because of Brexit and Brexiteers. So this is why they're very strong on during these Brexit negotiations. So you can trust them on this. With other issues, they don't feel the pressure just yet. So when the financial crisis hits, then they're going to be worried about that too. But yeah, I just posted a video just before this on this issue about the withdrawal agreement and the Northern Ireland Protocol. Go watch that and you get more information on that. John Bell says, hi Maya, would you say Marxists are winning in the UK? They want to bring down the Western institutions and they've already managed to wreck the BBC, which has always been Britain's mouthpiece to the world. So they could count that as a victory. Yes and no. Yeah, I mean, they are definitely winning the argument of the battle of ideas and especially language, but they're still not winning at the ballot box, which is still good. We still have that. We do need to stop them right there in case they start actually winning at the ballot box. That's what they did with the Labour Party. They used a semi-mainstream party at the time to infiltrate it and then get into government and cause chaos. They could do it again if we're not careful. Not with Keir Starmer, with someone else. So I definitely agree that they're currently winning, but not fully. There's still time. Don't worry, John. We're still winning. Next question. Alana, I think, says, hi Maya, could you please explain the first past the post system, and if it wasn't used, how would it affect the result if the election do you think it's a fair system? So I know a lot of people have obviously talked about the alternative options, but the issue is you can't just change the electoral system. You have to change everything about Parliament, House of Commons, House of Lords, the way the House of Commons sits, the way MPs form governments, and the constitutional monarchy. Everything has to change. The reason it doesn't work, so first past the post essentially is based on constituencies, and you vote for just your candidates and the party. You don't really vote for the leader. And it was working fine until people decided to treat British politics completely differently. People now vote for the party leader, kind of like the presidential election, and it doesn't really work. If people were, and also the way MPs form governments, if party leaders were just party leaders instead of presidential candidates, and people primarily voted for their local candidates and based on their local manifestos, regardless of the parties, and also just vote for the party in general, just like what they did before, first past the post works. Otherwise, it's a bit problematic because of the way we are treating British politics. So a bit of change is needed, but I wouldn't go with like AV or any of that stuff. We have to change the whole system, but I'm not really pro that much change. I'm still a conservative culturally, so if there's a good way to evolve the system, I'm all in favour. I know how unfair it could be right now. Last question, Greg Jackson. Can we refuse to pay the £39 billion divorce settlement to Brussels if it is indeed a no deal? We're trading on WTO terms. Well, Greg, as you might have seen in the last video I've just posted earlier, to be fair, if Boris Johnson is changing the rules on the Northern Ireland Protocol, he could easily do that on the divorce settlement as well. He's already sending the EU into turmoil and crisis, so he could. I don't know if he will. He might just use that as some sort of goodwill gesture to compromise. I don't really care at this point. I'd rather just pay most of it to just get out and be an independent country. But as you know, this is the main channel they could get all this news, because the mainstream media aren't telling you anything. Do you know why? Because, as you know, we are the media. So we got the new merch, as some of you might have seen on Twitter, the picture of me and Lacey wearing our merch, as you can see in the corner. It's not just t-shirts. You could get phone cases, mugs, other things. What was it, Lacey? Anything else? Something? Lacey's just there giving me info.
Got
oh,
masks, hoodies,
hoodies.
sweatshirts.
Sweatshirts, hoodies. I'll put the link. Actually, if you scroll down in the video, you could see some of the options. But the link to the actual shop is in the description as always. One good news. I forgot to almost mention this. We have a special guest on the show this week. Ian Dale. Where is it? There we go. So Ian Dale, and probably best to show the picture. There we go. And he has a new book. And what we're gonna do is we got a couple of copies. We're gonna get him. This is a really good book actually. Lacey and I just finished reading it. Although I might have just done the audiobook because I'm too lazy. But so basically, what it is we're gonna get him to sign this on the show when he does the interview, and then we are gonna pick a couple of names in random. Those of you who are members of the channel. So obviously, don't forget to become a member. The link is in the description, or just go on youtube.com/mytc/join. And you could, this also applies to new members as well. So but you do have a deadline. So the interview will go out on Thursday or Friday? Thursday. So you have until, let's go with Saturday, 12 p.m. to join as a member. So whoever is a member by Saturday 12 p.m. UK time, you'll be able to enter this competition. And I'll pick some couple of random names, and then we'll send you a copy of this signed copy of Ian Dale and his book. And that's it. I'll leave you guys go now. Also, don't forget to subscribe. We are the media on MyTC. I'll see you guys in the next video.